now recognize myself for 5 minutes. Trying to understand what goes into an ESG score. Mr. Bienvenu, are you aware that last year S&P Global gave Tesla an ESG rating of 37 out of 100, while at the same time giving Philip Morris a rating of 84 out of 100? You familiar with that?
I'm not aware of that. I will tell you that for us, ESG ratings are part of the mosaic and the investment decision that we make, because it's critical for us that we consider all of those topics.
So you would consider this in your investments, these ESG ratings?
We consider every information that we can get in our investments. More information is
So shouldn't you
better
know
for an
what's
investor.
behind the fact that Tesla got less than 40 and a tobacco company got more than 80? Would that cause you to invest in the tobacco company over an electric car company?
As I said, every investment decision we make is a mosaic of hundreds and thousands of factors.
But you're testifying today, you have no idea how Tesla got half the score that a tobacco company got?
As I
Do you
said
know what goes into these ratings?
As I said previously, we own 10,000 companies, and each one has.
Do you own Tesla or Philip Morris?
We own Tesla.
Do you have any Philip Morris?
We do not have any Philip Morris.
Okay. Well, I wish you could explain to us today why Tesla has an ESG rating of 37. Philip Morris had 84 last year. Attorney General Ellison, if 3 airline companies got together and decided, let's say the management of the airline companies, and decided to reduce flights or to get rid of their frequent flyer program, would that be collusion? Would you pursue that?
Well, let me tell you, there's a lot of things that go into any antitrust case, and so just to answer your question with only what you've asked, I'd say I need to investigate more, but just on the bare bones of what you asked, it would get our interest.
Will get your interest. What if instead of the companies, their investors did this, or a shell company that all 3 of the airlines were a part of suggested to all 3 companies that they should reduce flights?
Well, there I can't go with you, because the only thing that, I mean, if you're talking about the folks assembled here and other groups that give information to companies, those companies are making independent decisions and making decisions on the interests of the people who they represent, whether they be shareholders or whether they be pension fund beneficiaries.
I'm glad in the first instance it would get your interest up, because that's why we're having the hearing here. We see evidence that these group of investors has conspired, collaborated, colluded, convened, whatever you want to call it. It's still pretty much the same thing, to reduce the outputs of their companies or the companies that they target. And, you know, Ms. Lover, you said that mainly what you all advocate for is disclosure, but don't you also try to get the companies to do things?
We're interested in the companies taking positions that allow them to be strong and profitable over the short, medium, and long term. And every discussion, whether it's with an auto company, looks at where's the market going as it relates to EVs, not just combustion engine vehicles.
Well, here's the problem we have. What is demand management? Does somebody want to tell me what demand management is? Because nobody jumped on that. So, you know, it's in all of your documents, demand management. It's kind of the go-to thing to reduce. When you discover that the technology isn't there yet to reduce the emissions and keep the production the same, you suggest in the documents that the companies, here's a document called Investor Actions to Align the Aviation Sector with the IEAS 1.5 degree decarbonization pathway. It suggests that the aviation companies themselves could manage demand by raising their prices. Now, the problem here is that this is coordination. You guys are putting these documents together, you're sending them to everybody, you're collaborating on the documents, and then you're going to the companies that you've invested in and saying you should do this. And we know the technology's not there, but you know, here's some of the suggestions for the airline companies: keeping business travel to 2019 levels, capping long-haul flights for leisure at 2019 levels, reducing total flights by 12%. These are in the documents that you send to your members. And again, you call it demand management. What I would say is that if we saw anybody else doing this for any other reason, the fact that you think you have a noble reason isn't enough to get you around the law. It's not. Because what you're doing ends up raising prices, reducing production, and it's not good for society, and it's not, in many cases, not good for the firms you're investing in. And that's why we're having this hearing today. And I see that my time has expired. Attorney General Ellison, I understand you need to leave.
Unfortunately.
And I appreciate you coming. You probably never want to come back here again, I would say. But congratulations on your new job, and thank you for participating today.
May I just thank you, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member, for your hospitality today, and I am always happy to help advance the legislative process in whatever way I can. So thank you very much.
We appreciate your time. And if the other witnesses will stay, that would be good, because we have a few more folks who want to ask questions. Now, let's see, we got the gentlelady from Vermont.